Hello everybody and welcome to today's review. So you may well know this brand already, and you may well be wondering how this brand have come to be in a market that's already pretty flooded with trail vests, hydration vests, and a lot of the big brands typically dominate. But what I've got here for you today is a Black Diamond Distance 4 trail vest, and I'm going to be talking to you about how it works, my thoughts and feelings on it, and showing you hopefully in some relative depth what this vest can do for you. So to kickstart things, I've done about 60 miles in this vest. I've used it fully loaded and also used it without as much in it, and I'll talk to you about how I feel that has affected the performance of the vest with me personally. Now, I was gifted this vest first and foremost, and so the thoughts and feelings I have are totally my own, and I didn't purchase it myself. So when we talk about the price point, that's going to be something that you need to factor in yourself. You can get some great deals on this vest, but equally the full retail price from Black Diamond Direct may fluctuate over time depending on when you're viewing this video. So you can see here the way it currently fits as a small. I would argue that perhaps an extra small might have been easier for me, then I could wear it slightly looser, because there are times when I start to use the liquid in here and the vest starts to become a little bit more compact as I take things out, where I find myself a little bit close to the edge of the maximum tightness that these will go. And that's where I start to encounter a couple of problems, but that's not necessarily to do with the vest itself, it's more to do with the fit. And so, like with all vests, it's really, really important that you take the time to go into store and check it out. And the best store I can recommend for you to do that is Surrey Trek and Run. I'll put the details down below. Go in, try a few different sizes, see if it works for you before making your purchase. And also consider what you'll be using the trail vest for, because this was developed as a kind of like a mountain, hiking, scrambling, running vest, so it kind of encompasses all those different areas, not necessarily strictly solely for running itself, although obviously as it comes into the market, it may well be that people start to recognise this as a potential vest. You don't see a lot of them about, very few of them in fact. However, I think it's a vest that's very much underrated. So let's talk about what you get with it. You get 2 soft flask bottles. In order to get the water out of the bottles, you don't need to pull or anything like that, you simply bite. This within reach for you to be able to take the water on just like that. Obviously there's a slight twist motion, depending on where you have your bottle situated on your chest, on your person. It may well be a little bit easier for you, a little bit harder. You can, by the way, move these straps up and down. There are various points down either side to allow you to get the best fit possible. 2 soft flask bottles, really comfortable, decent, solid, no issues with any leaking thus far. And like I said, I've been pretty tough with the vest. I've been refilling it and just shoving the bottle straight back in. Some bottles I find a little bit difficult to put back into these compartments, but this is pretty good. Obviously, sometimes I prefer it to be a little bit wider, because I think if you're in the middle of a race, you want to be able to fill it, put it back in, and then ideally I'd like to pull it tight like that, rather than having quite a sort of a stiff neck that doesn't really stretch too much further than that. But you're going to get that with most vests, so can't really complain there. Then we'll talk a little bit about the different compartments on here. I'm actually going to take the vest off and talk you kind of around it, but as you can see, I'm kind of fully loaded. Before I show you around the vest, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I've picked up on that are not quite perfect for me. So I mentioned before about the sizing. When I run with this vest simply with bottles, without it all packed at the back, I find that for me personally, down this left hand side, this part of the bottle there around the rim hits on my pec. Doesn't happen on the right, just happens on the left. And of course it might be my build, but I feel that because I can't pull it any tighter, if there is any bounce there, there's just no relief from it, and I found that to be a little bit uncomfortable. Equally, I'm a little bit baffled as to why there are not more reflective elements. If you look at the Black Diamond logo on the back, that to me could be a real fantastic reflective element. It should be covered in it, because if I was out hiking, let's say, and at night I got lost, to have a piece of equipment that in itself can be seen from high above, I think is just absolutely essential for safety. So that's one limitation, I would say. But if you're doing just general running about, I guess it doesn't matter too much. So now I'm going to take the vest off and just talk to you about the different compartments and what I've got stowed away. Just before we turn it around, you can see at the front here I've got one zip pocket down this side here, and one zip pocket down this side here. And you could fit some smaller items in there, maybe some keys, maybe a gel or two. But it's really useful to have 2 zip pockets. Of course, we spoke about the bottles. Then in front of the bottles, we've got 2 quite easy to access additional pouches here. So in this one, for example, I've got some tailwind. For my race, it's important to have some of that. And then down this side, I've got a couple of gels. Now I've just put in here one gel and 2 gels. You could probably stuff it with as many as you needed. Of course, when it comes to rehydrating the aid stations, you'll be taking the bottle out and you'll find that unfortunately the contents of here kind of get squashed at the bottom and you're going to be fiddling around. So it's good once you're up and running to use these pockets, but I wouldn't put too much in there because it's going to be a bit of a faff when you have to try and take these bottles out. Let's turn on to reverse. So we look at the back, you can see you've got one main pocket here with a zip, and I'll show you in a moment how much I've been able to put into this pocket with still more room to go. Now closer to your back is an additional pocket that you can see there. I've never actually really put anything down there because I just feel like it's going to be close to our back and it's going to possibly reduce the ventilation which you do get, because the breathability with all this mesh is absolutely superb. So you've got that there. Down the very bottom you can see that along here I've actually rolled up a long sleeve shirt. Now people speak about putting poles in there, but that's not where they actually belong, because there's a very, very unique way of stowing the poles, which I'll show you towards the end. So you can see ample space at the back, and considering this is only a smaller litre pack, 4 litre in fact, the amount it can store is quite phenomenal. Before I take all of these things out, down the side here, so closest to your, just above your hip, you've got a space there. I've got a Cliff Bar on that side, and down this side here I've got a small first aid kit, both accessible quite easily by your hands, which again is a rarity. They've really maximised the space available, lots of pockets, lots of zips, lots of opportunities for you to store the goods that you need, especially if you're doing the longer races. Okay, so let's dive into all the things that I've been able to store in here, and I think you'd be quite surprised by the amount that goes in here. So I've got a head torch, black diamond in fact. I've got a buff, sometimes these are required at aid stations. I've got a pair of gloves, also black diamond. I've got a hat. I've got a spare pair of socks. I've got some arm sleeves here. I've got a pair of luminous gloves, more lightweight. And I've got the bulk, which is my waterproof jacket. Now, of course, if your waterproof jacket can fold away smaller than that, it takes up even less room. But you can see there's quite an amount of gear. And in fact, that's all the mandatory kit that I'm required to take with me on my upcoming 50 miler. So with that said, this could actually feature as a pretty strong contender in the market where 50Ks, 50 milers are concerned. Bring you back around to the front just for a moment. I'll talk about the pole system, which I didn't explain fully earlier. Now, I don't actually have any poles. I never use poles myself, so it's not something that I've really utilised. And in fact, I've taken away the additional add-ons that allow you to utilise the pole system. But down the bottom here to the left and up here to the top, what happens is you can stow your poles through here and then actually flip it over to your back, put your arm through here, and then the poles sit across the reverse of your back diagonally. Then when you need them again, pull them straight over, unclip and ready to go. It's an absolutely phenomenal piece of technology and a really kind of forward-thinking idea. Now, I may be speaking out of turn when I say that because it might be something that a lot of vests feature, but from what I've seen, my experience in races, most people carry poles either across their front like that or down the side, or you buy an additional quiver. But this actually has all the built-in facility to be able to do that. And like I said, I took away those additional attachments because I don't require them and I wanted to use the pocket space that they were currently sitting in. But when you've got it in front of you, flick it over to your back, it just makes perfect sense to me. So overall, I've been very, very impressed with the vest. I can't actually knock the vest at all, apart from the reflective elements, which I think just adds to safety, and the sizing, but the sizing is down to me, not down to the vest. I'm really impressed with that. Now, like I said, I've done 60 miles so far. That includes 2 20-mile runs and lots of smaller runs. On the smaller runs, it wasn't as packed out, very breathable, very lightweight, and I can't fault it. So if you're considering Black Diamond, please do first and foremost check out the Surrey Trek and Run website, who can give you not only more information but a chance to pop into store, try it on and see what you think of it. And Obviously, you check the Black Diamond website that gives you all the detailed specs, features, and all the stuff that I haven't missed out, because generally speaking, I'm guessing most people want to see what it looks like on and what they actually, in real life, normal terms, actually does. But if you want to geek out on some of the specs, I'll put the link down below for the Black Diamond website. Thanks so much for checking out the review, and let me know down below if you've already run in this vest yourself, your thoughts, feelings, opinions, or whether you might consider checking it out.